razzle dazzle, we're the best. No, the courts aren't on your side, but they're not on the tenant side either. Jen, like, you are independently wealthy when you are naked. I am over treating property management the same as real estate sales. I guess I'll lead the witness. I think it's freaking scammy. Welcome to Hold It with PM Jen, the show for real estate investors who buy and hold forever and ever. Amen. Welcome back to Hold It with PM Jen. This is our final episode of season 2, and it's a bonus episode. And it's a bonus episode because it's really just fun stuff, guys. I've been giving you a taste of these, we call them cocktail party stories, at the end of most of the episodes this season, and we put them all together along with some other fun stuff we recorded, and that's what you're getting in this episode. We had so much fun doing this. We partnered last season and then for these parts with Stone State Entertainment and did some filming with them down in their studios in Northumberland. We're definitely going to do more of that with them. When you hear these stories, they're definitely, by the way, not safe for work. So not listening to these in the office, not with kids in the car. There's your warning. But I brought my dad because my dad's been doing, as you know, from earlier in the season, a lot of running around with us, and he did the driving for the crew to take us down to Northumberland. And so he was in the studio with us, and he was, needless to say, shocked at some of the language and the stories and things that he heard. But he knows that this is how, now he knows that this is how the sausage gets made. We had in studio me, Jesse, my director of operations and sister, our head of property management, Jennifer Rippey, and our leasing agent, who you've also seen and met before, Kristen Leet. And we went in the studio and told those stories together and just had a great time. One note before we get started, the playbook, it is free for now. I've been calling it FFN. So for the balance of 2025, the no bullshit playbook for buying and holding rentals in North Central PA. Next year, I might shorten the title, you guys. That's a long one to say, but next year it's also going to be costing something. We're going to be adding a ton more content in there, and it's just simply too valuable to give away for free. So while it's free for now, go ahead, hop on holditwithpmjen.com and download that. Also, I'm about to do some traveling. So as you receive this, next week I will be in Orlando for the NARPM National Convention, and I'll be presenting a breakout session there. Traveling to Sarasota to record a podcast with somebody down there, so I'll be letting you know about that when that comes out. Having a great time there. And then the last week of October, the week after, I'll be traveling to Cincinnati for the Real Estate Investor Association's National Summit. That's happening in Cleveland. So from like October 29th to November 2nd, I'm going to be in Cleveland. Please let me know if you're going to be there. I'm also working on 2 podcasts I'll be recording while I'm in Cleveland. So those are getting set up. Before we get started with the cocktail party stories, we really took a leap and did something creative and fun. Maybe you've seen Jimmy Kimmel's mean tweets where celebrities read mean things people have written to them on the internet aloud, and that is something we've kind of recreated. So I hope you're watching it on video. If you're listening to it on audio, it'll come through, but on video it looks just like it, and the deadpan delivery is really just so funny. So this is a collection of things that people have written to us. We are starting out, our first mean tweet segment is Kristen giving us a very short and sweet, it's our favorite Google review, you guys. It is a 5-star, and it's also Google's favorite Google review for us. You see, I have almost 400 reviews, and for years now, this is one of the top 2 or 3 that Google puts on the homepage when you search for us.
Love the service. The food was really good.
I really wish I could get Google to get rid of that review or at least make it relevant to my business. Up next, we have one of my favorite comments I got recently this year on my social media, probably a video or something. And this was a comment somebody left for me that made me go and change the name of my work group chat. See if you can guess what I changed it to.
This industry attracts a lowbrow, quite often criminal element workforce.
Often these management companies are low-wage employment. They recruit the otherwise unemployable and don't even require the same qualifications that are required of the actual tenants they victimize. I changed the name of my group chat to Lowbrow Criminal Element Workforce.
That's right, folks. I got that comment online and immediately went and changed the name of the group chat I have with my coworkers in my phone to Lowbrow Criminal Element Workforce. So obviously, we love that one. This next one, I got an email in response to a Craigslist ad 12 years ago. And I saved it all these years because the people in my office called me a dildo for a month. You'll see why.
Who the fuck would pay $650 plus every single utility for that one-bedroom piece of shit you have for rent? White people are so goddamn greedy. That's why your shit won't get rented, dildo. I hope you get AIDS.
Up next, we have Jesse with a text message we got recently from a tenant when asked about his late rent.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying. They won't let me get a job. I talked to the mayor Monday, because this is BS. I should have a job by now, but it's cool if I lose this. I'll just go back to jail. Thanks for the opportunity.
Up next is an email I received several years ago from a tenant who was unhappy about the security deposit settlement after she moved out. It's one of my favorites, and at the end, you'll hear why.
You're an evil snake. You can choke off that security money, honey, because obviously you needed it a little more than we did. Thanks, honey. Lesson learned. Never trust a giant in a dress. Take care and God bless. That one hit, and do you know what that one did? My sister went on Etsy and paid somebody to paint it on an easel and give it to me for Christmas.
Jessie is just that kind of cruel. She heard that email, laughed about it, and then went ahead and ordered it on an easel that has remained in my office to this day. The last one I have for you, we took advantage of George, my dad, being in the studio with us, and we had him record one. This is a comment I got recently on one of my videos, and I get comments like this every day. This one was just really colorful. And here's George to share it with you.
I would never have a queef pickle like that thing for a landlord.
I hope you enjoyed those. That was a fun little lark for us. We'll keep collecting these insane things we get so that we can share them with you. And now enjoy just a smattering of stories from our business.
Oh my God, you guys are going to love this. Listen up.
Somebody harassed our dear Kristen here
Oh.
on Facebook, and in their profile picture was a porch you recognize.
Well, not a profile picture. So I woke up at like 6 a.m. and like usual, check my notifications because there's not that many. It's a quick check.
It's fine.
And I see, just it happens sometimes. Kristen posts a video or I post a video and some creep says something creepy, right? And this guy said something creepy, nasty, whatever to her. I, of course, look at his profile, message him that he's a POS, delete it, block, the whole thing. It's a topic of conversation that day because we're excitable ladies, so we're talking about it. And I get back into the profile, and I get back into the pictures. And I'm going through the pictures, and it's a picture of this dopey-looking guy, right? And he's on a porch, and there's a building behind him. And I'm like, I know that building, right? Because I can't remember a lot in this business, but buildings, addresses, like we always refer to them as street numbers and names and things like that. And I was like, I know that building. And I think it's like 2 blocks from our office.
It was close to our office.
So I got up from my computer, got in my car, drove the 2 blocks, and do I not see this derpy dum-dum sitting on his porch? And I pull up, and at the time I was driving a Lincoln Navigator,
Right.
and I had shades on, and I pull up, and I got the window down. He's on the porch, and he gets this look of excitement in his eyes, like somebody's here to talk to me. I go, let me make up a new name. You know, you Jack Smith? He's like, yeah. I go, in the middle of the fucking night, you posted something nasty on my company. And I go on to tell him how, you know, the look on his face, the color, just like, why is she on my front porch? And I said, you did that at 4 a.m. It's 2 p.m. and I'm on your front porch. I was like, figure it out, right? I was, like, act wild. And he was full of apologies and the whole thing. But yeah, that's how I roll in terms of my employees, my
Absolutely.
people. Go fuck with who you want to fuck with, but there's a line around these people. And you cross that line, I'm going to act nuts. I'm going to act fucking nuts. Like this one guy, we terminated his lease, right? And he wasn't happy about it. Obviously, nobody is, but you know, that's kind of the deal with renting. It's not forever. So we terminate the lease. He gets big mad. He goes into the tenant portal where you can like update your phone number and your email. So he decides he doesn't want to hear from us anymore. So he changes his phone number to like, you know, all fives and his email to suckadick@lol.com. Right. And we see this. It's all very tracked. We're like, got it, Rocket.
We even email it.
We emailed it. You told me.
Right, you said that's what it was.
So anyway, the tenancy ends. I don't know if this guy owes the owner money, but he disagreed with the security deposit. He didn't think it was right, and he sued us. And we brought our attorney to the hearing to deal with this. And I'm friendly with the attorney, and I go, listen, this is going to be, I'm going to be a lot happier paying your invoice if you find a way to say this email address to the judge.
Please.
He's like, say less.
Please.
Say less. So he gets his papers out, right? And he's doing his cross-examination or whatever. And he's like, and it was about communication. He jumps on it. He's like, and did you change your email in the provided tenant portal on May 5th, 2021? And the tenant's like, no, man, like, no. He goes, oh, interesting. And he gets his glasses. He's like, you didn't change it to suckadick@lol.com? I was just like, yes. I loved it. Because that guy did not, he was mad one night.
But later, you came across where he was living out of because we couldn't find a forwarding address.
That's so funny. He did not want to give us a forwarding address. And actually, I found it that same day as the hearing. So we left. I was with my husband. We went to go like look at a property and we came back. He just had a car with like a decal on it that you knew it was his.
Right.
He didn't want to give me a forwarding address, so I followed him. So I followed him, and I got the forwarding address, and I proceeded to send mail to it.
Yeah.
Don't drive a car with a big ugly thing on it.
So we had a client who owned 6 or 7 units with us, and we live in a small town, and above the fold news story, they got arrested for shoplifting from a local grocery store many times, and one of the tenants in one of his units knew that was the owner of her building, and so she texted or called, and she goes, what's going to happen if he goes to jail? And you were not in the office. Jen and I were talking, and what are we going to tell her? And I go, well, we'll just ask Jen. We'll call her. And I said, Jenny, call the owner and ask him if he's going to jail. And you jokingly said, sure.
Yeah. It was very much a joke. Like, call the owner and find out what happens if he goes to jail for shoplifting. Except the conversation just ended after the joke, and I guess we didn't.
Sure.
And so
That's what I heard.
Jenny, who we call it? She puts on her little headset. Who we call it? And she calls this owner, and she's like, how are you doing? We saw the news.
Are you okay?
Are you okay? And proceeds to say, your tenant wants to know what happens if you go to jail. And sure enough, he wasn't going to jail. His lawyers are going to get him community service and fines and probation and the whole thing. But she will call anybody about anything.
Absolutely.
You have to be careful about what you tell her to call and tell, because she'll call anybody.
I say it all the time. Jenny could call the gas company and shut the gas off at the White House. Like,
Absolutely.
she could just talk her way at getting whatever she wants. When I go, so I do a lot of, going into properties with new potential clients. So these are new landlords. They might be experienced landlords. And if they're doing the knocking, it's always,
No.
hey, John, it's Brenda. And if I'm responsible for the knocking, it's, hey, who's here? And they go, what are you doing? I'm like, you catch one nudie.
Yeah.
You yell so loud from that point forward. I will not have any miscommunication about my entry. Thank you very much. Cover yourself.
I have one very in particular. These boys knew that I was coming. They're college students. It was 10 o'clock. I've got this whole group. I've got a parent in the group. Like, we're all going in to look at it. It was the church.
Oh, yeah.
And
It was
I knock on the door and the guy's like, come on in. And he is frying eggs in nothing but those tighty whities. And I stress the tight. They were doing a lot of work, a lot more work than he was frying those eggs. And he just looks over and he goes, what's up? You want some eggs? And I'm like, nope. And I'm like, but you might want to put some pants on because somebody's parent is here too. And he's like, oh, no problem. Puts on an apron. You're good. They come in, they do the thing. He's still over there cooking. At this point, he's got bacon. And we're leaving. And I said, hey, thanks. And I go to shut the door. And he goes, if you want to come back for eggs and bacon, you're welcome to. And I'm like, I'm not. Thanks, though.
Did you hear that subtle brag? She's like, and this college boy in his underpants wanted me to come back and eat eggs with him.
It was absolutely not flattering. Like, I was so taken back. I was just like, bro, your panties are out.
It never fails to surprise me about how people are dressed when you go into their house. Or not dressed. And like, and in their beds, unconscious, or maybe just on their phone, like, you know how you wake up and you scroll. And like, I remember just recently I was with two nurses. They were a couple. And they were in nursing. They were looking to buy this multi-unit building, and we're walking through it. And there is a man in the bed laying under the, like you said, just the thinnest sheet, just the thinnest wisp of a whisper. And how do I know he was naked under the sheet? It was that thin. Like, it was that thin, and I can state that as a fact. And I'm in there with these people looking to buy this building, and I'm just like, business professional, and you're nude, and I think maybe conscious, and this is a weird dynamic, and I don't like it. And the way my parents raised me, you get up out of bed when people are in your house. Right. You're up out of bed, on your feet, ready for anything. I remember when I had that first leasing job, and I was 22. I was so inexperienced, and I didn't have a property manager. For a long story, there just wasn't a property manager. I was kind of alone in this office, and it was garden style apartments. And there was a mother and like, I want to say like an 8 or 9-year-old daughter who lived on the first floor. And I don't even remember if the tenant on the second floor was a man or a woman. I don't think it was a couple. It was just a single person. And the woman on the first floor came in to me and goes, I really need your help. And I'm sitting here so earnest, like, then I am going to help you. Like, you have come to the right place. I have a undergraduate marketing degree from Indiana University of Pennsylvania and 1 month of experience in real estate, and we are going to solve this. And she tells me that her upstairs neighbor has always been a little vocal in the bedroom at night. And lately apparently has amped up this behavior, and the vocabulary has gotten extra clear and, loquacious. And now her 9-year-old has to sleep in the living room because the bedrooms line up in this house. So like the kid could hear, and because the kids started repeating the words she was hearing. Oh. Right. This is not a case of like, I'm a prude and they're rocking the bed too much. And I heard this and I was like, it's kind of like when I got called about the ghosts. Like,
what do I do?
This is going to be we're going to have to go back to the text. Like, right. And I wrote a letter that I posted on the door. I realize now how this letter had to have come across, but I wrote a letter, probably in Clarisworks, and I referred to it as the nighttime noises. A whole about the nighttime noises, and the young daughter is repeating words, and it did solve the problem, but I definitely hit that nail a little hard for that, Jenny.
Yes.
Or no, maybe you remember.
It was a sex in the balcony.
The balcony.
Yes.
Tell that story.
Yes. We had duplex again, top bottom, downstairs neighbor calling, like my neighbor having sex on her balcony all the time, and it's loud, and like I have to say something about it.
She was a brand new tenant, freshly divorced, like
she's
moving in on her own.
So we had to call and like, oh, Carol, you know what? Your neighbors are complaining. I said your neighbors are complaining. You're having sex. I said
you're banging on the balcony, girl.
Sex in the balcony.
That's what.
Like, oh, I'm so sorry. It was my birthday. I was living my best life. I promise it won't happen again. And it didn't. But you have to make those odd, hard phone calls.
She had to sow those oats on the balcony.
Yep.
She does not
Yep.
fear an awkward phone call. She'll call anyone and tell them anything that you need her to.
I will.
started using a constable to deliver the notice to quits because I think I fell on some ice at one point and was like, that's it. This is ridiculous.
That job's too dangerous for me.
Too dangerous for us.
I'm this high. I'm falling that far.
Yeah.
I could get hurt.
Yeah, I'm a tall building. I fall far, so I don't like it. So anyway, we hired the constable to deliver the notice to quits, and it wasn't like we had a problem with delinquency, but it did get tighter. And at some point, about 6 months into the relationship, 6 months of him doing this, he comes in. I say, hey, nice to see you. It's going great. And he mentioned something about knocking on the doors. And I was like,
Why are you doing that?
you're knocking? Because, in Pennsylvania, you have to post it. And we would post it silently and leave.
Take a quick picture.
Yeah,
and
take a
you're
picture.
out.
Got the tape on it and everything already. Your camera's open.
So the constable's like, heck no, you're paying me. I'm coming up there. I'm knocking on the door. I'm trying to. I go, great, bro. That explains a couple things that, things are getting a little bit tighter. Right. Cool story. Love it. 6 months after that, I see him on social media with a bag of pet food on his shoulder. It's a picture, and he's got a raccoon on the other shoulder. And he's in his constable outfit. And so anyway, he's on social media volunteering for the pet rescue. And I text him hey, cool picture. What's up with the raccoon? Kind of he's like, that's my raccoon, 𝐬𝐫𝐫𝐿. And I'm like, that's fun. I go, do you normally volunteer with the raccoon? He goes, oh, my raccoon's with me all the time unless I'm transporting prisoners. And I go,
So you're just posting notices with a raccoon?
I said, so then you're all the knocking and the handing. It's in your cop outfit with your cop car with the raccoon and the gun. He goes, yep. And I'm like, that I have been sending a raccoon cop to people's house.
There's a pop.
Yeah, shh, don't talk about. I am gonna bleep that out. That is a hot deal with this raccoon cop. But yes, God, no wonder my collections go so well.
Remember that time you got hired to manage a rub and tug?
Oh,
Absolutely.
It's rub and tug.
Okay, so-
100%.
Well, yeah, right. So it's an Asian massage parlor.
I'm sorry,
I think
yes.
it's called 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐾 is the name of it. And it's attached to a residential building. And this is one of my favorite stories because I'm like, yeah, God, this is, I don't love this, but okay, whatever. So I'm touring the
Again,
building
went to college for this.
Yeah.
with the elderly owner who had just taken over the responsibility for running it. He'd never been there either. So we walked the property together. This is a Korean War vet.
Yep.
And I said, we were joking, and I go, I don't know, man. I didn't know I was ever going to manage a rub and tug. And he goes, huh, you think that's what's going on in there? And I go,
He was interested.
I don't know, Ted. I just, I put two and two together. He goes, I don't think that's what's going on in there. I go, why do you say that, Ted? He goes, not enough soap. And then he proceeded to tell me he hadn't been in one of those places since the war. So I don't know. It was mixed signals, but yeah, that was.
I had to send a tech home once.
What?
Happened.
Well, we got a call from a downstairs neighbor, 4-unit building. A downstairs neighbor called, real nosy neighbor, said, I have not heard hide nor hair from my upstairs neighbor in days. And I don't like to complain, but he's normally so noisy, and now he's not. And I think you need to check on him. So this would be a welfare check that we don't conduct. There's whole people out there who do this, the authorities. But at the same time, one of our maintenance techs was outside measuring for a storm door replacement. And this fellow rolled up and he said, hey man, I'm so-and-so's brother upstairs. I haven't heard from him in a while. Will you go in with me? And our tech, being the person that he is, says, I'll go. And going upstairs, and he said he was met with the smell of death in the stairs, and he goes in and he finds somebody who had died by suicide, a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This is terrible. And in no way, shape, or form did this fellow look
right.
alive.
Mm-hmm.
And he hadn't been for days. And our technician goes, as if he owed more due diligence than this.
Right.
He went up and checked for a pulse. And of course there wasn't one, and there was a whole thing. And I said, you got to go home. But lesson learned, I think, that if invited to do that, you can just say no.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if you got nothing else from that story, welfare checks are free. You just call 911.
I have one. It's a top-bottom duplex. Downstairs reported bed bugs. At that time, the standard was we get someone in there, we have a pest control company check to make sure that there is in fact bed bugs, what we need to do, and then we also check the other unit. So I have a local pest control company, which if you are working with us currently, it is absolutely not you. But this guy comes upstairs with me and we're looking around and we go into one of the bedrooms and I see a sex swing on a door that does not have a lock. And he's like, we got to check up there. And I was like, it looks like this door is being used currently and I don't know if we should open it. And he's like, no, I think we should. He pulls the handle, the swing comes down and it touched his lip. And it was the butt part. And
It was the butt part.
It was. It was the part that looked like would hold butt cheeks. And and if you could call it that, it was kind of like a sling and like
A strap?
and it came up and it was like whoop, like this. And he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "You're gonna have to put that back up." Yeah, I'm not touching it. And this guy's like, "That's fine. I've seen worse.
Oh, woof.
It just touched your mouth." And he's like, it's okay. And he pulls out a bottle of Mountain Dew and he takes a slug and he goes, "We're good." And proceeds to just like continue the inspection.
Another time, and our tenant relations manager answered the phone, like, One Focus Property Management, how can I help you? And she was like, oh, I'm going to need to get Jen for this. And I'm sharing an office with Jen because, again, volunteers don't get their own office. In fact, no one did.
Yeah, no one got an
time.
office. Yeah.
And I'm in there and I'm like, this is not even a real job. They don't even do real work here. This is landlords for hire. It couldn't be any easier. And she gets on the phone with this tenant who is dead convinced that an entity is haunting his child and wife.
Yeah.
That someone is messing with him while he's asleep. This ghost is causing a ruckus in his household. And Jen, so matter-of-factly, is like, do you believe in God? Father Almighty? And he must have given something. She's like, well, you know what? You need to claim the house back. You need to tell that entity, claim that house for you and your family and say, you are not welcome here. And this guy was so empowered. And he wanted out of his lease without penalty is what he wanted. He wanted to be able to move his family away from this interrogating ghost. And Jen was not having this.
Well, that's not a reason.
And
No.
I mean, you can pay the fees. I mean, there's a way out of the lease.
Yes,
there's
but-
so
but you don't get to get out because the ghost of Susan is still there.
the service she offered was to go buy a bundle of sage from the health food store. She was, I'll come smudge it.
Yeah.
I'll come claim it for your family. She's like, look, I got a bat guy. I got a groundhog guy. I don't got a ghost guy. You're going to have to take care of this on your own. And then you told our tenant relations manager, set a reminder, follow up with him in a week, see if the ghost is gone. And she did. No further complaints.
He said it was fine. But there was a creepy old Victorian in Williamsport and we had a traveling nurse in there and she claimed that it was haunted. And this was a building that I had heard things before about. I had heard, light haunting tales. But this lady was saying that there were skeletons walking out of the walls and she had a 2-year-old in there. And I was like, well, I don't know what the skeletons are going to do to the kid, but she was that freaked out, and I really appreciated the relationship with the nurse company that I went to the health food store, bought the sage, and just did whatever I saw on ghost shows on TV. Right. You Google a little show, you go in, you do the whole.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
And listen, they didn't keep calling in.
Yep.
That was $2.50 worth of sage and 20 minutes of my time, and now a story for people to hear. What happened was it was a big old Victorian mansion, and these people call me and say, hey, we're the family of this long-term tenant, a man, 50s maybe. And we haven't heard from him, so we crawled in his bathroom window off the fire escape, and he's dead in there. And I'm like, oh. So I go out to the building right away. They're distraught. I mean, this is this man's child and his maybe baby mama.
BM.
His BM. Just recently learned that's a term for baby mama.
Trademark.
Yeah. They crawled in through the window. Anyway, the cops are there. So the scene is big Victorian mansion, fire truck, coroner truck, police vehicle, like the whole shooting match. They brought one of everything, and 4 men in white suits are now going up to the 3rd floor with a body bag to retrieve the gentleman who had passed. And I'm told he's more puddle than person at this point.
Juicy, I thought was
juicy.
the term that they said.
Yeah, they use the term juicy. And I'm fearful of dead things. I love a welfare check. I love to stand out in the parking lot. Like, I'm too busy to go in there. And my job, I thought, was to keep the family away from this exit out the big Gothic front door. So I'm opening up doors, getting things propped open, trying to keep the family in this unit I had put them in. And the 4 men, the body bag, and I like to say you expect the body bag to be long and straight. This one was U-shaped. Because again, puddle, right? So it's a hangy sack. Anyway, I prop open the door. As I'm propping open the front door, what do I see out front? Trick-or-treaters! The sidewalks are full of
little children.
little firemen, little Captain Americas, and I was like, oh shit! Like, this is bad because already it's a big crazy mansion. Fire trucks, coroner trucks. We're already.
Or is it just for All Hallows Eve?
And you know what I
Is
chose?
it just a Halloween getup?
I propped that door open and I went and hid with the family. And I was like, whatever happens, happens. Kids, you're traumatized. I don't know what to do. That was a horrible situation. And it's just one of those, where people live, they die. I say that all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, we might find a little gallows humor in just the fact that we do have to deal with it. There was like my evening was spent airing out the building. Just quite literally the things like that happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 6-unit building and there's a basement with like a set of laundry in it. Right. And the tech went down there to do something and found evidence of like somebody kind of staying down there. A bottle of piss, a sleeping bag, the typical. I was, feeling foxy that day. I was like, I'll come out and call the police and do the whole thing. You move on, do more work, maintenance tech. So I go, wait for the police. There's nobody down there, of course. We, look around, and one of the items that is there is this set of keys. And I recognize, because there's really particular keys at that building, that one of them's a key to one of the units, right? And I can't remember how, but I identified it as like 3 North. So I know who it is. It's a couple we had problems with.
Yep.
And I proceed to go upstairs to the 3rd floor with these keys, because now I know somebody's been sleeping downstairs and they've been getting in and out on one of my tenants' keys. And I go upstairs, and the woman I believe it to be, knock on the door. She opens it. Undies and a t-shirt. She's not worried about it.
Yep.
She's not worried about it. And a pit bull that ain't supposed to be there, right? and I'm like, hey, whatever, lady. I found this with like a bunch of squatter stuff in the basement. And she's like, I knew I was missing those. And then proceeds to blame it on the male, counterpart in her household. Of course, the pit bull has to go outside. So in order to keep talking to her, I go downstairs with the underwear lady into the yard to talk with her pit bull that's off leash. And I'm just like, you realize I have to ask you to leave. You realize you can't live here anymore.
Right. You have to go.
And, she put up a little bit of a fight, but we did, have to end that tenancy, because that was not a situation where her keys were stolen. This is a situation where one of her friends or his friends or something was sleeping down there.
He was a relatively new tenant, just moved in a few months ago, and for his 2nd or 3rd month living there, he wanted to get on a payment plan. He couldn't pay all of his rent on time, so he got on a written payment plan, and he missed a payment. And we notified him, hey, you missed a payment. Your payment plan is now void. You owe your balance in full today at this time, or we're going to go to the magistrate. And he wrote, I should have a job by now. I went to the mayor. This is BS. And then he goes, I'm sorry. He goes, it's cool. I'll just go back to jail. Thanks for the opportunity.
It's wild when that's your plan B. You're like, oh, the payment bounced. Time to go back to the slamming.
Well, and not for nothing, but he is back in jail.
Yeah. Just like a week and a half later.
Well, the same day as the landlord-tenant hearing got picked up.
Group of college guys. I walked in, checking it out. There on the banister going up to their 2nd floor of their apartment was a white hard hat with a big dildo duct taped to the front of it.
They left it behind.
I came back to the office. I said, if that gets left behind, I claim it. Sure as shit, when we did the move out, there it sat. And it sat in my office for a long time. We got a lot of mileage with it. I'm like, you know what?
Do you remember?
I better get rid of this.
Do you remember the day our grandmother, head of property management, decided to get rid of the hard hat with the dildo duct tape? No, I think we went to an HR seminar together of some kind, like how to manage your team. And we looked at each other and went, it's time to get rid of that. It was like under her workstation and we would bring it out.
It was in the corner in the back office there before she moved to the other office.
I had to move it because I had it sitting by the heater, and I was afraid at wintertime it's going to melt my dildo. So I put it under my... I had to put it under my desk. And it did eventually, like just after HR, like, we got to get rid of that. And it went to the dumpster.
And we cleaned our act up, and we did not take near enough pictures of that thing. I wish we put it in, I have a little bunch of stuff in my garage that's supposed to be for the museum, right? Like one day there's going to be a museum about this company and I wouldn't mind having the hard hat. There was this guy, this is when we lived together back in Mechanicsburg in my multifamily days. There was this guy I evicted, non-payment, very classic. And back then you had to kind of hold the stuff for 30 days. So we held the stuff, but the property has to be locked. The tenant can't just come and go for 30 days. They have to like get access, right? So the apartment was broken into. Somebody broke the window to get in, right? Clearly this is the former tenant. Well, I just so happened to have a cleaner that cleaned in the middle of the night because he had a day job. He reported to me, I saw it. I'm an eyewitness. So now I go make a police report and say, hey, police, I have an eyewitness that says this guy had a very, like long, straight blonde hair. It was just very like Hulk Hogan-like. Like,
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, he was Hulk Hogan-like. So anyway, clear ID. So an arrest warrant's put out for him. Because I'm big mad. You broke my window. You're making my job even harder, like, to do all this stuff. So long story short, I am with you thinking he's going to break in. He's got stuff he needs in there. So we would go stake out the property at night.
Another volunteer position.
To try to catch him. Dog the Bounty Hunter was real big back then. And we fancied ourselves, you know.
I'll admit that I did.
Yeah,
A real drag tag team.
Yeah. So we were doing that anyway. The guy called me at work one day during the 30 days and is like, I need some of my stuff. Can I get in? Because I guess I boarded up the window. And I'm like, no problem, Bob. When are you coming by? Coming by at this time? So I just called the cops and had his ass arrested. Right. And I was like, nailed that. And anyway, he called back the next day after having been arrested and released and was like, are you going to have me arrested again? And I was like, if not, if you don't have any active warrants. I'm like, now come get your stuff. So of course he gets all the choice bits, leaving behind a cat, which was real tough to catch, real dicey to catch. And he had this dresser. This among a lot of things he left behind. They pretty much take the TVs, their panties, you know, and I guess the drugs. I don't know what they're into, but they don't take the pets and they don't take anything else. So there's this furniture in a big dresser drawers. And we used to back then bribe the trash man. So we had 30 dumpsters at this property. And what we would do is flag him down and give him a case of Natty Ice. And then he would go dump the one we wanted and put the dumpster at the unit. Nice. So we could trash it out super quick. He'd go do the other dumpsters, come back, get a free dump. I mean, this is a $20.
You got to do that. You got to
pack of beer. This is what happens when you put a 22-year-old in charge of 300 doors, right? So this is what I did. And we are trashing it out. And I take this dresser drawer, guys. When I tell you, it was a big one. It was a deep, big dresser drawer. And I pull it out of the dresser and I am shocked because it is so full of dildos. It was like somebody had a how many dildos can you fit in this drawer contest. It was so full, so heavy. I'm so...
Wow.
And I just like, why did I go to college?
Why?
Like, why did I go to This is not what my parents dreamed for me.
So I oversee the maintenance department, as you know. And my guys, they can clear a toilet clog. They do it professionally. They have all the tricks of the trade. They go at it with the old 1-2 plungeroo. They have snakes. They have augers. They have an air snake, which is their personal favorite toy. It's like an air bomb. Boom! And our technician calls, and this is in a property that our family happens to own. So I have extra interest in what these tenants are into. And he said, I can't clear this clog. And I said, well, then you got to replace the toilet. It's the only toilet in the unit. But I'm going to need you to crack that porcelain open and see what's inside so that we can determine culpability. Who is responsible for the
And
cause?
we also want to know what it is.
And there are children in this unit. I'm anticipating a fistful of Legos, a hairbrush. Something is in this toilet. Andrew calls me back. First, he sends me photos, like any good maintenance technician does, of him holding this piece of porcelain, a perfect cross section of it in his bare hand. Maintenance technicians are so gross. Bare hand. And he goes, it's a turf. And he told the family it was a turd, and the entire family in unison shouts one of the children's names. This kid was known for this. This kid had a fiber disorder. And our tech, who sees all manner of craziness, goes, he needs a doctor. A child did that to that toilet. I don't really know that it was size so much as viscosity or lack thereof. It couldn't be augured through.
It's like cement.
We had to replace
An
the toilet.
auger couldn't get through it.
Yeah, so our parents had to pay for a new potty because their kid doesn't have enough.
Isn't that something? If the kid put the Legos down, that's tenants.
Yeah.
If the kid had a
Shit and bricks.
if the kid shit a brick, that's our parents.
It's a weird world we're living in.
Remember Santiago?
Marcelino.
This guy was a menace. A menace. He constantly would come up on the porch because he lived in like a group home down the street, like kind of like a halfway house.
Yeah.
And at one point, he came up to me and he grabbed for my arm and he was like, "Give me a cigarette." And I'm like, "I don't fucking smoke." Like, I don't know what to say. And I walk into the office and I'm shaking because like a grown man approached me and like tried to grab me in broad daylight. And you're like, no, fuck that shit. We're gonna find his fucking mom, his grandma. They're all done.
I walked up the street, 2 houses, walked in the front door because it was unlocked. And I was like, who the fuck's in charge around here? Like this halfway house. And this man in shorts came out. Who was the like RA. But I proceed to go like, that motherfucker just grabbed my girl. Like, we're done. Like, we've had a lot of problems with this dude. And now he's touching people. And now you've like lit the beast, released the Kraken. And he's like, and he got me his caseworker's number. So this is a person who's like under the guardianship of a government caseworker. And when I called her, she's like, I've had thousands of people and this is my most problematic guy.
He's out of the city though.
Oh, I had him out by the end of the week. I called the cops. I got all the stars aligned. I criminally trespassed him off our property. Because if you do, like, by the way, everybody's like, you can't solve problems. You can solve problems. Now, resources are there. You're just not being a big enough bitch.
Absolutely.
I was helping the company through a crisis years back, and I was a senior volunteer in charge, I think I've named myself. And I was just sitting there, like, doing a little bit of forensic accounting, trying to triple tie some accounts. And I hear Jen having a really important business call. Like, she was talking to a prospective client or a lawyer or something. And just so matter-of-factly, she goes, well, gotta go see a man about a horse. And I think most people know that means something. And she knew it meant something, but she thought it was just like a quippy little way of saying like, well, gots to go.
Yeah.
Got things to do.
I said it all the time. I thought it was like if I was a man and I had to go see somebody about a horse, I got things to do. I can't stand here jibber jabbering with you all day. I align with that man who has horse business. I have business. And that's what it meant. It meant I gotta get going. You're chatting with you too long.
And it certainly does mean you got to get going, but it means you got to get going.
Yeah, apparently it means you got to take a Dukaroo, and I didn't know
She
that.
hangs up, and I go, you did not. In a place of business, just tell another grown adult who you did not know.
Yeah, and this
were
is what
not-
my face looks like.
And I was like
Like what? What are you talking about?
And she said it so much.
Yeah, I did say it a lot. Oh yeah, and people, upon reflection, people did have a bit of a
Like you better go.
yeah, like it was
Damn, you're trying to get my business and tell me about your shit.
it was so effective at removing myself.
They're like, no, I've been there. Go ahead.
I have got to say this.
Emergency.
I have got to use this every time. There's no better tool in my toolbox to pull out to end a conversation than, well, gotta go.
Yeah.
See a man about a horse.
Yeah.
And they were just caught so off guard. They're like, please. Oh, I'm so. They're apologizing to you.
And I would say it like, gotta go see a man about a horse. Like I would say it so confidently, like I got more appointments, man. Busy profesh, gots to go.
Just 3 weeks ago, Jenny, we were in an old lady's basement. She was about to move out, and we were checking it out for the owner, making a plan for a renovation. And we were so gobsmacked by how much stuff she still had to move. This woman was living deep in this unit for decades and just piles of stuff. And there, practically with a spotlight on it in her basement, was a 5-gallon bucket.
It's so much.
So much. Handwritten on the top in Sharpie. Hand lotion.
Stop it.
And I don't know what it was for, but I don't know what it wasn't for. So I'm going to submit that in this section.
That's a weird item.
Hopefully you had as much fun watching or listening to those stories as we've had telling them for years and recording them for you. Listen, if you loved that episode or loved this season, I hope you will subscribe, share it with a friend, but most importantly, will you review it? Will you go into Apple or Spotify and hit that little 5-star and maybe type something? It really matters a lot, guys, and I would just so appreciate it. Again, I'm just a property manager out here trying to share what I know with you. And a reminder, I'll be in Orlando at NARPM October 20th to the 25th. And then I'll be in Cleveland at the Real Estate Investor Association National Summit in Cleveland. What is that? October 29th to November 2nd. So let me know if you're going to be in either of those places and we'll hang out. And here's hoping we can get season 3 out just a little faster than season 2. We'll see. Let's all pray about it. All right, folks. To buy and hold forever and ever. Amen.